All right, next up we have Jason Bowsza, who will be followed by Susan Sobohinsky and Rebecca Rooney. Is Jason here?
Yes, ma'am.
Jason, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony on House Bill 5551 and Act concerning proceedings of the Siting Council and other requirements concerning certain utility expenditures. My name is Jason Bowsza. I am the first selectman in the town of East Windsor, which you may or may not be aware is now the home of 25% of the state's cited renewable energy in Connecticut. And all of that without any involvement from the local government in deciding what or where those projects go. Because of the inundation that we've seen in my community, I'm here to support the contents of House Bill 5551, and I want to highlight a couple of the points that I think are particularly important for my community and for the reconstitution of the Siting Council. First of all, in Section 9 of the bill, it would allow, in certain circumstances, a moratorium to be put in place on the development of grid-scale solar projects in communities that either have or abut more than 100 megawatts of cited renewable energy. That is a tremendous amount, a significant undertaking, and a large subsumation of our prime farmland. So in our case, that would help the spread of this that my community opposes and that we can't do anything to affect at this point. The Siting Council's propensity to cite these projects specifically in East Windsor, despite local objections, is really becoming a little bit reckless. We had an appeal before the Siting Council that was adjudicated on March 5th. We had 2,100 signatures on a petition, 7 or 8 different parties to the application, letters from our legislative delegation, our planning and zoning, our board of selectmen, expert witnesses that were impaneled, and the Siting Council effectively discarded all of that. So I'm very interested in seeing some reform there. One of the things that I think could be reformed is included in Section 1 of the bill, which addresses the need for the absence currently of municipal representation of the Siting Council. Under current law, there needs to be at least 2 members who have a background in ecology, but there is no requirement that any of the members have a background in municipal government. And I'm not suggesting that this should be the municipal CEO gets a temporary seat on the Siting Council. I actually don't think that would be terribly effective. What I do think would be effective is making sure that there is a permanent voting member on the Siting Council who has served as a chief executive officer in municipal government, whether that's a town manager or a town administrator or a first selectman or a strong mayor. Somebody who understands what the implications are going to be on the municipality where these things are foisted, so that part of the conversation can happen. Section 1 also addresses how conflicts of interest are addressed. In that same petition that we just recently had, there was a member who lived in East Windsor who was told by staff for the Siting Council that he needed to recuse himself. If that had been on the hazardous waste side of the Siting Council, that recusal decision would have been brought to the appointing authority. In this case, it would have been brought to Speaker Ritter, and the Speaker would have decided whether or not there was a conflict. And if, in fact, there was a conflict, would have been empowered to seat a replacement member for Speaker Ritter's appointment for that
You may
hearing.
not have heard, but the timer has gone off on your time. Could you please summarize what you have for us
I'm
today?
sorry, I didn't hear any of that.
It is difficult to hear. If you could just summarize, thank you.
In summation, I wrote very lengthy testimony on 5551. My community has had way more experience with this than we ever could have wished on ourselves. There needs to be some meaningful reforms to the Siting Council, and I think this bill does that. I included in my testimony, and I won't summarize, but I included in my testimony a number of different language changes that I suggest. And if the committee would like to take a look at that, I'd be happy to work with you as you formulate the bill.
Thank you for your testimony.
I'll leave it there.
If you'll just hang out for a minute while we see if we have any questions from the committee. Questions from the committee? So I have a couple of questions. Are you still with us, Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
You are. So specifically with respect to the 100 megawatt limitation that you were talking about, do you know how many communities in Connecticut already qualify for that designation?
So in the draft bill, it's a municipality that has 100 megawatts or abuts it. So there would be 1, 2, 3, probably 6.
So 6 existing municipalities already qualify for that. So this is really a very narrow exception that this bill is asking for, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, also, with respect to, you did use the word reckless about the siting council. So other than the citing of many, many projects in these targeted municipalities, are there some other examples that you think, and I'm not asking you to share more instances of reckless behavior, but are there instances in this bill that you think this bill would solve? And if not, are there other ideas you have that should be included to rein in this behavior of which you speak?
Well, yeah, there are a number of things in my testimony and in the bill that I think would kind of rein in some of the abuses that we've seen affect my community. As an example, there is a section in the bill that allows for the siting council to bring on expert witnesses to aid in their evaluation process. And I asked that the criteria for what they can bring those expert witnesses in for to be expanded to include noise mitigation. We have a project in East Windsor. It's about 30 acres and 3 megawatts. And it's located, the inverter is located 124 feet from somebody's front door. And it has been since 2021 emitting noise at a high-pitched buzz that is absolutely affecting their ability to enjoy their home. And the siting council has not done anything meaningful to address that. And so if they had the ability to bring in a sound engineer or a noise mitigation expert at the expense of the project owner, maybe that gets us a little bit closer to addressing that problem.
Thank you for sharing your perspective. Thank you for being with us today.